Once upon a time, there was a man named Yuqi who hailed from Hunan province. However, his exact birthplace and origins were unknown. He came from a poor family, and after failing the imperial examinations, he ran out of money on his journey back home. Reluctant to beg for food, Yuqi found himself starving and sought refuge temporarily in the temple of King Wu, where he knelt before the deity and prayed for blessings. After finishing his prayers, Yuqi lay down in the temple's corridor to rest. Suddenly, a man approached him and led him to meet King Wu. This man knelt down and reported, "The black-clad squad is missing a soldier, and this person can fill the vacancy." King Wu replied, "So be it," and gave Yuqi a set of black clothes. Upon wearing them, Yuqi transformed into a crow, flapped his wings, and flew away. He joined a gathering of crows, and they all took to the skies. Flying together, they landed on the sails and masts of various boats. Passengers aboard the boats threw meat into the air, and the crows, including Yuqi, swooped down to eat the offerings. Yuqi followed their behavior and soon had his fill. Pleased with himself, he perched on a tree branch. A few days later, King Wu took pity on Yuqi for not having a partner. So he arranged for Yuqi to be engaged to a female crow named Bamboo Green. They lived together harmoniously. Whenever Yuqi went to fetch food, he wasn't very cautious. Bamboo Green often advised him not to go, but he ignored her warnings. One day, a detachment of King's soldiers passed by, and a pellet hit Yuqi's chest. Fortunately, Bamboo Green grabbed him and flew away before he could be captured. The crows were furious and flapped their wings so vigorously that they created waves and overturned the boats. Bamboo Green brought food to Yuqi, but his injuries were severe, and he passed away that night. Yuqi suddenly awoke as if from a dream, finding himself still lying in the temple. Initially, the people who lived there discovered his apparent death and kept an eye on him, finding that his body was still warm. They arranged for his care. After inquiring about his situation, the locals raised money and sent him back home. 3 years later, Yuqi returned to the same area, visiting King Wu's temple. He set up food offerings and called the crows down to eat together. He requested that Bamboo Green stay if she was present. After the meal, the crows flew away. Later, Yuqi, having passed the imperial examinations, returned once more to the temple to make offerings of pork and lamb. After the offerings, he prepared a feast for the crows and wished for Bamboo Green to remain. That night, while staying in a lakeside village, he saw what appeared to be a flying bird descend near his table. To his surprise, it was a young woman in her 20s. She smiled and said, "Are you well?" Yuqi asked her who she was in astonishment. The woman replied, "Don't you recognize Bamboo Green?" Delighted, Yuqi inquired about her origin. Bamboo Green said, "I'm now a goddess of the Han River. I rarely return to my hometown. The crow messengers informed me of your invitation, so I came to meet you." Their joy and emotional connection were palpable, and they embraced as if they were a long-separated couple deeply in love. Yuqi wanted Bamboo Green to accompany him to the south, while Bamboo Green wished for him to join her in the west. They couldn't reach a decision. The next morning, as Yuqi woke up, he found Bamboo Green already awake. Opening his eyes, he realized they were surrounded by the bright light of a large candle. They were no longer on the boat. Bewildered, he asked, "Where are we?" Bamboo Green smiled and replied, "We're in Hanyang. My home is your home. There's no need to go to the south." With dawn breaking, attendants and maidservants arrived, and food and drink were brought in. They set a low table on the big bed, and the couple enjoyed a meal together. Yuqi asked, "Where are my servants?" Bamboo Green answered, "They're on the boat." Yuqi was concerned about inconveniencing the boatmen, but Bamboo Green assured him she would take care of it. They spent their days and nights happily, forgetting about returning home. The boatman woke up from his dream and found himself in Hanyang, utterly astonished. His servants searched for Yuqi but found no trace. Unable to leave due to the mooring rope being untied, they had no choice but to wait on the boat. After more than 2 months, Yuki suddenly felt the urge to return home. He put on the black clothes secretly and soon grew wings on his sides. He flew swiftly into the air. After 2 hours, he had arrived at the Han River. Yuki circled and looked down, spotting a cluster of buildings on a solitary island. He descended and landed on the ground. A maid had already seen him and shouted, "The master has come." Soon after, Bamboo Green emerged, and servants helped Yuki remove the black clothes, causing his feathers to fall away. Bamboo Green held his hand and led him inside, mentioning that she was about to give birth. Yuki playfully asked, "Is it viviparous or oviparous?" Bamboo Green replied, "I've become a goddess now. My skin and bones have hardened. I'm different from before." A few days later, Bamboo Green indeed went into labor. The baby was enveloped in a thick membrane, resembling a large egg. When the membrane was broken, a boy was revealed. Yuki was overjoyed and named him Han Chan. 3 days later, goddesses from the Han River came to congratulate them, bringing clothes, food, and precious items as gifts. These goddesses were all remarkably beautiful, under the age of 30. They gathered around the bed, gently touching the baby's nose with their thumbs, claiming it would add longevity. After their departure, Yuki asked, "Who were those that came just now?" Bamboo Green replied, "They are also goddesses of the Han River. The one who was wearing the light-colored lotus garment at the back is the same immortal whom the legendary Zhang Jiaofu met under the Han Gao Terrace and exchanged jade pendants with." Months later, Bamboo Green used a boat to send Yuki home. The boat had no sails or oars but moved on its own. Upon reaching the shore, someone was waiting with a horse. Yuki returned home. Several months later, Yuki felt a strong longing for the Han River and secretly put on the black clothes. Wings instantly sprouted from his sides, and he swiftly flew towards the sky. After 2 hours, he had arrived at the Han River again. Yuki circled in the air before descending to the ground. However, there were no sails or oars on the boat, yet it floated along. Upon reaching land, a horse was waiting by the road. Yuki returned home. After a few years, Han Chen grew even more handsome, and Yuki loved him deeply. Yuki's wife, Lady He, was unable to conceive, and she often expressed her desire to see Han Chen. Yuki informed Bamboo Green of this. Bamboo Green prepared their belongings and sent her son to be with his father, promising to return in 3 months. Lady He grew fond of Han Chen and cared for him more than her own children. After more than 10 months, she was still reluctant to let him leave. One day, Han Chen suddenly fell seriously ill and passed away. Lady He mourned deeply, and Yuki went to the Han River to inform Bamboo Green. Upon entering, Yuki saw Han Chen lying barefoot on the bed and asked Bamboo Green in excitement. She replied, "You broke our agreement for such a long time, and I missed my son. That's why I brought him here." Yuki attributed this to Lady He's excessive fondness for the child. Bamboo Green said, "When I give birth to another child, I will let Han Chen return." A year later, Bamboo Green gave birth to twins, a boy and a girl named Han Sheng and Yu Pei, respectively. Yuki took Han Chen back home, but he would visit the Han River 3 or 4 times a year. However, he found the journey too cumbersome and decided to relocate his family to Hanyang. When Han Chen turned 12, he entered the county school. Bamboo Green believed there were no beautiful women on earth and summoned Han Chen to her side. She arranged for him to marry a fellow goddess named Ziniang. Afterward, Han Chen returned home. Years later, Lady He passed away, and Han Sheng and his sister attended her funeral. After the burial, Han Sheng stayed there, but Yuki took Yu Pei with him and never returned again.
Alright, this story has come to an end. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you.